Greetings of the day, dear students. In this video, we are going to discuss about the necessity of motor starter, and we will discuss about the three-point starter, its diagram, and the various terminology present in this diagram. Right? If you observe, the main necessity of the starter is to protect the motor against the high starting currents. For that sake, what we have to do is we have to have a high resistance, right, connected in series with the armature of the motor at the starting, and slowly that resistance value is to be reduced gradually as the motor gains the speed and develops some sufficient back EMF, right? Ultimately, the motor attains its normal speed. Then this additional resistance, the whatever the resistance, additional resistance we are adding with the help of the starter, that is to be totally disconnected. That is to be totally disconnected. Slowly, with the increase in the speed, by the time the motor reaches its normal speed or rated speed, most of the times around 1500 rpm, this resistance is to be disconnected. For that purpose, we need an equipment called starter. We are going to have a three point starter. So what does it mean? Here it consists of a series starting resistance, and which will be divided into several sections, and which is connected to the brass studs or some brass arc, right? And here, if you observe, you will have one more element: no volt or overload release coil, no volt or overload release coil, no volt release coil. And it consists of an electromagnet which is connected in series with the shunt field winding, right? And it holds the arm in the on position, and immediately if any supply gets disconnected, it gets released. As soon as the supply fails or gets disconnected, this no volt release coil will get released, right? If you observe in this diagram, this is the holding coil or no volt release coil, and at starting this will be the starter arm will be at the off position. In laboratory you can observe it will have a handle. Slowly will move the handle. Its meaning is at starting it will be at high resistance. Now this arm will move on this brass studs, right? Slowly with this movement, by the time it comes over here, this arm, the resistance will come to the minimum position, right? Now here you can observe you are having a spiral spring, overload release coil, and DC supply. This is the main switch, and this one is the field winding. This is the main switch, DC supply, and this is the motor armature. L for line, L indicates the line, F indicates field winding, Fi ELD field winding. A indicates armature. Like this you will have LFA, L for line, F for field, A for armature. From here you used to take the wires and will connect as per the circuit diagram, right? At the starting, the motor starter arm will be at the off position. Slowly by you used to move this starter arm, and by the time it reaches the end point, the resistance will become minimum, current will be high. At starting, resistance is high, current will be low. That is the main purpose of the starter, to limit the excessive currents drawn by the motor. So here overload release coil, observe it is connected in series with the motor so as to carry the full load current, and is provided for the protection of the motor against the overload condition. So if in your exam, if what is the necessity of the starter, or explain about the three-point starter, if it is asked, dear students, please observe, please present this diagram, indicate the different variable names, right? And highlight the purpose of the no volt release coil, right? And overload release coil, what is its purpose? And also at the initial stage where the starter arm will be there, at starting how the resistance will be there, high or low. By the time it reaches the end position, right, the resistance will be high or low. And the main purpose of the starter, to limit the high starting currents. All those things if you highlight, you will be awarded good marks, right? Thank you.